All right, Guile. Steven, let's start with you. What do you think about Guile?
Surprisingly, I actually have Guile at number 6. I think he's a pretty damn strong character in this game. I don't think he has as much representation right now, and it's interesting because there are definitely some characters here in this game that I feel are really strong, but maybe aren't getting as represented as much right now. And probably the reason that is because you have other characters like Ken, like JP, like these other characters that are just like ascending above the pack just by larger margins and stuff, or whatever it might be. But I do think that Guile has a lot going for him in this game. I think he's got great damage. I think he's got strong normals. I think his zoning is great. I think we talked about this in one of our last episodes, our tier episodes, but he kind of plays his own game, and he can kind of play outside of like the drive gauge meta, if you will, because of the way that he can put up these defensive walls where he doesn't super need to use a lot of meter until he gets a confirm or until he gets that opening, right? So he's pretty interesting in that sense, but you've got players like NuckleDu and Kaba that are doing well with him right now. I just think he's strong overall, but again, there's characters that are doing more than him right now, or that could do more here in these early days than he is right now. So I have him at number 6. I know that maybe...
And you had him in, just to compare earlier, sure. You had him in the second tier. We didn't order them. Right now, I'm looking at the graph. He's the 10th character ranked in your list. Do you feel like he was somewhere around there, or maybe a little better than 10th?
He's probably a little bit better than 10th now, I think.
No. I mean, like, went back in the day, like, that's not super important. You had him, You had him a little bit lower, but...
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I numbered things back then, but it was kind of like a general idea. He's probably a little bit higher than what I had him before, and that's probably the comparison you're looking for there. But
okay,
yeah.
John, your thoughts on Guile?
So far, Steven and I have the exact same tier list. I have got Guile at 6, but I also had him at 6 before. This is one of the more overhyped characters so far, as his tournament results have mostly been lacking. He's won one major with Kaba. He beat Mena, who's his training partner, which... training partner against training partner is kind of it's a different kind of ball game there. But anyway, Guile's definitely very good, but he also has a very bad matchup in JP, and that's a character you are certain to run into in tournaments these days, where maybe you might not have seen him early on. You're definitely going to see this guy. It's so bad that NuckleDu, the moment that he saw a JP player come up, he switched right over to Cammy, said, I ain't dealing with this crap. Pocket
Absolutely.
Cammy, shout outs to that. So when you have got a character with a severe disadvantage against another top tier character, that is going to knock you down your rankings a good bit. But Guile does have a terrific zoning game. He has a plethora of anti-air options and some dominating stuff when he gets the opponent into burnout. This guy can be very difficult to deal with for a handful of matchups and other things, so I understand when people see Guile pop up there on the screen and go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? In the hands of someone like Kaba or NuckleDu or all the other great Guile players out there, this guy can be very scary. But you put him in the hands of an average player, and I don't think he's that good. So it's mostly the very strong Guile players who are making him look fantastic, but he has problems.
So I haven't seen the pizzazz from Guile. I know Guile's history plenty well. He's a great character. The way he functions in Street Fighter, generally speaking, through the years, he's always a candidate for being one of the better characters for sure, just because of the way he works. Mena RD, Punk, NuckleDu all have him at solid number 1 as of their most recent tier lists that I've seen that I did research for in this video. Justin Wong and IDOM have him at number 2. A lot of other pros have him way up there. As a JP player, I don't have a lot of problems with Guile. I've not been undefeated, but man, it does feel like an easier road. That all said, like I like what you said there, John. I agree that he just hasn't had the results. He's won once. Yes, that's not quite enough to maybe eke him out above some of the other characters here, and thus I have him at 5th overall. And I wouldn't have him as high if I didn't. I trust the opinions of the likes of Mena and NuckleDu and Punk, because those guys know how to play this game. Those guys understand this game pretty well. So that's where he gets all the way up to 5th, and also his legacy. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it from him yet, and so that's where I put him 5th overall. All right, that brings us to our next one, which is DJ. Similar to Guile. Haven't seen results for him, But John, you want to kick us off on DJ?
Yeah, I've got DJ at 7th. I had him at 7th before, so same spot. DJ is very popular and has a spectacular drive rush, which you guys have been talking about extensively, and very strong all-around tools, but they seem to add up to less than the sum of their parts. That's what would be my main issue with DJ. It's like, oh, he has all this great stuff on paper. It's like, well, where's his results? He is not dominating like many people claimed he would, and he seems to hit more walls at high ends of plays at tournaments where other people can use similar tools that he has, but they use them in more effective ways because they're better. So maybe DJ is a B+, and it's like, well, okay, so Guile's an A+ here. So how is he going to deal with that? And the answer is, well, he loses a lot despite being extremely popular. So he's still very solid all around, but I can't see him being up there with the best of the best characters, especially for how popular he is. He should be farther. He should have more result, and he just does not have them. Tons of representation, but not tons of great output in terms of where he's placing in tournament.
Yeah, and I would say on that, specifically seeing Shen use him, what we've seen from that player, his ability to play technical characters and have this wealth of options and make it all make sense in the midst of the moment. When you're on the Evo Grand stage, it's like Shen knows how to do that kind of stuff. And I think that DJ has a ton of tools. He's got a great fireball. He's got great mobility options. He's got the best drive rush in the game. And if it's as strong as John thinks it is, that should put him up there, right? And yet we do not see results from him. I've had him higher. I've been holding on to that DJ is a top 5 character for a long time. I lost to a DJ at Evo, but alas, I cannot put him higher than 7th. I agree exactly with John. 7th overall. How about you, Steven?
Well, Catalyst definitely copied my homework because I have
oh my gosh,
number
you guys.
7. I have him at number 7, and for legitimately the same reasons. I do think that one of the things that holds this character back is that he doesn't have a lot of normals in neutral that have good reach that can be canceled into drive impact. And I think that's a little bit of a thing because some of his longer reaching normals are susceptible to being drive impacted, and he can't counter drive impact, which is something that you see from a lot of the better characters. And it's interesting, trying to analyze these tier lists and really break it down. A lot of these characters I feel are really good, but they just don't have that extra little bit that some of the better characters do. So it's in the case of something like DJ, as Catalyst was saying, it's like he's got all these great things, but he just maybe doesn't have quite as much as the Kens, as the Lukes, as the JPs, right?
Does this imply that it's better to be able to pounce forward than it is to be well-rounded? I mean, DJ can pounce forward, but maybe his pressure and his offense, once he does so, is not as strong? Because I think he's like the second hardest hitting character in the game. It all doesn't make sense. He should be so good.
He's less than the sum of his parts because his tool set doesn't complement each other like, say, someone like Ken's does or JP's does, where it really complements where the spots are on screen, how you do damage, how you set up everything. DJs don't work in as well with each other as the other high tier characters.
I can't argue against it, and I don't yet see the particulars as to why specifically. I feel like, man, if you can do these sways, if you can do these combos, if you can have this mobility, if you can do these full screen fireballs, you should be good. If you can have an active jump that's just active forever, but you're right, it doesn't add up, so I won't disagree. Steven, did you have more you were saying? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No,
but...
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I do think he has a lot of great tools. I just think other characters do some of that stuff a little bit better, and it's like, I mean, again, he's not a bad choice by any means. He's definitely a strong character, does mad damage, has the best drive rush in the game. He's got a lot going for him, but you're probably looking at safer picks in somebody like a Ken or, whomever that's a bit higher ranked than him, because with that $1 million on the line, it's like you want the best of the best, man. You don't want somebody that's going to fail you in, winners finals or whatever, right?
Well, guys, the conversation surely can't end there. There's got to be more to the whole DJ picture and Guile picture for that matter. So if you think that you know something that we haven't talked about or don't know, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, we want to hear it all as the discussion continues down in the comments below. So let us know there. And if you want to see a similar conversation we had about Manon and how bad she's kind of proven to be, you can do so right here. And if you want to hear our debate about whether or not Drive Rush is overpowered, it's not. Check it out right here. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.